a Wolverine. We're here to talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. We're excited. We're well, maybe not all of us, but I know that I'm certainly looking forward to talking about Hugh Jackman's second outing as the in his films. But I mean, this is what I think this is the 7th time he's played Wolverine across all of the films. He's appeared in every film so far, and I think this is his 7th outing as the titular character.
7th or 6th.
So I remember this movie being a lot better reviewed wise, like people's opinions on it than X-Men Origins Wolverine. Then I go on to IMDb. This is 0.2 higher than X-Men Origins Wolverine. This was before I watched it. I was like, oh my goodness. I didn't think that the divide was this low.
Yeah, public opinion is very positive from what I've seen of this film. I was always like, after watching these movies, to see who has reviews online, and the men themselves, Jeremy Jahns and Chris Stuckman, both have reviews on this movie, and both really enjoyed this movie at the time of its release and said it was a huge improvement over the X-Men Origins Wolverine. And I will say this is a big improvement over X-Men Origins Wolverine.
But if you didn't like X-Men Origins Wolverine. Like you did not
out
like
of
that
us
at all.
three, you gave it a rotten score, whereas Ethan and I gave it 7s.
I gave it the correct score.
The correct score.
Correct score. 5.5.
Ethan Wentzloff.
Yeah. Come on.
Well, we're gonna see. We're here to talk about this movie now, and I want to hear what you guys have to say, because Jeremy Jahns, Chris Stuckman, they're great reviewers, but their opinion,
they're not here.
Right? They're not here. They mean jack to us. I want to hear what you guys think. So, Micah, what do you think about X-Men? Well, not X-Men, just the Wolverine.
Well, so I've seen this movie a couple times before. This was I don't know, maybe my 3rd time seeing this movie. I watched it a couple years ago with my dad. If you guys have been on the Marvel Marathon, you'll know that I watched all the X-Men movies a couple years ago with my dad. We went through every single one. And this one, I remember, stuck out to me as being one of the more action-packed ones. Sure, there's the middle where there's kind of a dip in action, but for a good portion of this movie, it's really solid action. And that's what I like about this movie. It does what it needs to do right. It's great steps into the right direction for Logan as a character. It's almost this movie walks so that Logan can run. The movie Logan. I think that there are a lot of parallel lines you can draw between all of the Wolverine movies, and this one is just another stepping stone on the path to Logan.
Okay, so you think if James Mangold hadn't directed this, we wouldn't have gotten the masterpiece that is Logan?
I think that without these two movies focusing on Wolverine, they would have made the same mistakes that they make for these ones.
Okay, so you're
I'm positive this was a good movie. Yeah. Okay. I think that what it does right, it does really well, and the things that it does wrong are they're excusable at best.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Well, Mr. Wentzloff, do you agree?
I think I if I had to say I'm either negative or positive on this movie, I would lean more towards positive.
Whoa.
I would, but that doesn't mean I loved it. I thought it was all right. I think it's a big improvement over X-Men Origins Wolverine. I think it's a big improvement over X3, and I think it is slightly better than or a lot better. I mean, go listen to our podcast on X-Men First Class. We revisited that, and that was anything but first, right?
Yeah. No.
But no, I enjoy this movie, and I like what he said. It gives you the roots of Logan. James Mangold, he goes on to do Logan. He recently got a Star Wars film announced.
Yeah,
he's doing
good for him.
Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny, and the Ford v Ferrari. He's an accomplished director, so it is interesting to see this movie. And I think I told you it was pretty boring. I felt like this movie was really long. For a movie that has about the same runtime as Iron Man 3, I felt like I spent a lot more time watching this movie than I did Iron Man 3. Just runtime wise, I felt like it dragged, and I didn't care about a lot of it. Like, Logan is, I appreciate putting him in a dark place at the start of this, and he's a cave dweller. He's really broken up after the events of X3, but I don't know. I don't know what they do with him is interesting at all to me.
I really like that first act.
Yeah.
That first act was one of my favorite parts of the movie. Well, I'll definitely talk about it later, but Ben, what do you think of the Wolverine?
Yeah, no, I think the first act drew me into the film, and then I think it kind of petered out until the end. I think, see, here's my issue with this movie. And I would say I'm overly positive like you guys, but my main issue with this movie is the villain. You really can't tell. I mean, we've learned this so many times. The villain is as weak as you can possibly have a villain. And I'm talking about Viper, because
Poison Ivy?
Yeah, no, seriously. It just is Poison Ivy. She has all the same character traits, and she might be, no, I'm sorry. I am going to disrespect the actress. She is horrible in this movie. She is absolutely atrocious. And I'm not sure it's even her fault. I don't know if she was the one who dubbed over the voice lines, but I don't know if you guys caught this. But her voice dub is maybe the worst thing ever made for this movie. She is mouthing words, and different words are coming out of her dubbed. It is absolutely atrocious. And the way she delivers lines is just really bad. But other than that, there's kind of a lack of villain. But I think that's really, that's the main issue, and it's glaring. But other than that, everything kind of just... My other complaints are minor. Logan is fantastic in this movie. I love almost everything that Hugh Jackman does, as I've loved everything that he does throughout this marathon. I think basing a franchise around the character is the right way to go. I think you may have gone a little misstep. I recognize that the first Wolverine movie is not the greatest thing in the world. I have nostalgia for that, but I recognize that it's not the greatest thing in the world. But this movie is a step up, I think. I think for sure it's a step up. And I think the theme that he deals with throughout this movie, the theme of death and how he deals with it and comes to terms with it, I think it's really good. I like it.
Yeah, just like the past few sequel movies that we've had, my main point for liking them was you have this character, take away what's special about them and see if they can still survive. And that's kind of what this movie does too. Not as extreme, like they can't kill him, like how they strip away all of Iron Man's powers. They can't strip away all of his healing to where he just dies. But they do a well enough job where it shows that he can still hold himself as a fighter. He can still, even without the claws, the battle still finishes. There's really cool imagery you see in the final shots where in that final fight the claws are cut off. He's getting his knuckles drilled into. Oh, it's so gross. And it's stuff like that where you see, oh, Logan is in pain. You don't see Logan in true pain in other movies. That's what's unique about this movie. That's why I like it. They switch things up. It's not a boring whatever sequel. They always try to do something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in pain, but they don't use that to the full capability. He's wincing a little. They could have done a lot more with that and really made it a plot point.
They could have cut off limbs and stuff, sure, but they cut off what was most important to him and then extracted the powers from his claws.
But that's after he gets his healing abilities back.
Yeah.
And in that way, that's why Logan is so much better, because that problem we have right there is why Logan.
This movie wanted to be Logan so bad.
Well, I mean, it directed by the same guy.
It's step one. Yeah, it's a step in the right direction, and I think overall the tone of this movie is pretty good. I think the direction is pretty good. I don't know if the story is all that interesting.
No, it's not quite there.
It could have been though. He goes to Japan. That's a really interesting story beat.
I think the overall story for me actually was sufficient, but the script inside of it was bad. I think the arc was very captivating for me. Logan goes to see someone that he saved from Nagasaki back in the World War II, right? And then he has to save the daughter and the two daughters, and then one of them's a mutant, and then the other one's really skilled, and they're all there's a lot of really cool characters in this movie, but the lines that bring the characters together just aren't there.
So
that's the weakest part for me.
Yeah, throughout this movie, Logan is seeing visions of Famke Janssen's Jean Grey, right?
Yep.
And it kind of alludes to that they're long lost lovers. But is that something that we really got in the X trilogy?
No,
it's not.
He says at the end,
it was very Punisher.
I'll love you. I'll always love you, Jean Grey, and it's not earned. The moment is not earned at all. I'm like,
if you only saw this movie and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, you assumed what happened in the past. Sure, but it didn't happen in the past.
She was with Scott, bro.
the whole time.
Yeah.
She even, I'm pretty sure she rejects him, doesn't she? She's like, no, I'm with Scott. And then she
friend
dies.
zones him. Yeah, friend zones him and dies.
So I don't know. Like,
And he kills her.
I will say this.
That's a big part of this movie.
I do respect the decision, though, to have this movie set after and address the outcome of Last Stand,
Yeah.
which was not the greatest movie at all.
Something that is always baffling me when we sit down and talk about an X-Men film. Whenever we sit down and talk about a Marvel film, I'm like, oh yeah, this happened in Thor, this happened in Captain America, that happened in the Avengers. I know it. And it's probably because I love that world a little more. But when we sit down to watch an X-Men movie, I legit, all right, how did the last one end? How did that one end? I have no idea.
Well, because and what makes it even more confusing is that the two movies that have come out previously have been set in different time periods. I had to remind myself, oh yeah, this is a sequel to Last Stand. Oh, what happened then? That was like 7 years ago.
Yeah, that
Who
was
died?
for us. That
geez.
was how many movies ago? Even that was
A while
one,
ago.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 movies ago was X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Wow.
That's a long time.
Yeah, and I'm looking at our timeline here, the X-Men timeline. And if you guys don't know, the X-Men timeline after this movie splits. Like a definitive split. Every single movie after this is in a second timeline. The Wolverine is the last movie before Days of Future Past splits it off. I'm looking at it right here. We got, so zoom in on the camera, Ethan. We got, oh, that's so small. I can't even read
okay,
it.
so here's the thing though. Here's the
Which
thing.
one is that?
So the future in X-Men Days of Future Past, if I
Yeah.
recall,
Is the past.
does take place in this universe.
Yeah.
With the Sentinels and
the
everything like
future,
that.
The future in Days of Future Past is this timeline.
Right.
And then the past resets it, starts a new one.
I'm confused.
For,
Oh, nice motorcycle.
First Class is in both timelines.
Because Logan, all right, at the end of this movie, he loses his adamantium claws and he has bone claws again. Do we see those bone claws again?
You know, I don't think we see him at all. And then when he goes back into the past in Days of Future Past, it's before his procedure. So he just does have the bone claws again.
I think he looks at his bone, his
If I
adamantium.
remember right.
I think that he has the adamantium in the past, yeah, and he looks at it and he's like, okay, they're back. And this is cool because his brain goes to the past.
Okay. Maybe.
It's the same Logan brain that goes back to 1973 in Days of Future Past.
Oh, is that how they do time? It's just brain teleportation, not
they
actual
use,
body.
what's
one
her
of the
name?
mutants' powers sends him back, and
Yeah.
he's the only one who's allowed to go back because his brain would have melted or something. But his brain,
Okay.
yeah.
We can talk about it when that happens.
The
But
problem
anyway,
is, yeah.
before this X-Men universe started doing this split stuff, we're already confused at what happened. Ben, all right, so this post-credit scene for this movie is really cool.
I
Ben,
do
you
like
wanna,
it, yeah.
You want to share your thoughts? And
Yeah,
what?
so I'm watching and I'm like, so I spotted Magneto before they revealed him. I was like, oh wow, okay. I
did too.
totally forgot that this was the post-credit scene. I actually started to get kind of hyped. And then I was like, wait a minute. As Charles Xavier rolls across the screen, I'm like, didn't he die in the last one? Completely forgot about it. Completely forgot.
Because X3, the post-credit scene is revealed. He's alive. Somehow he returned.
Palpatine
I,
returned.
I think they did something with like they put his consciousness in like his twin brother, and it was just really confusing. And so, but now they're back. That's all that matters. We've got Wolverine teaming up with Magneto and Charles Xavier.
Isn't it bizarre? This X-Men universe started in 2000, and we're in 2013 in our marathon, and already you see the effects of how the MCU has overtaken this X-Men universe. Like, it's already better. But to me, one of the big critiques of this movie for me is that I feel like they don't lean into the world of X-Men enough. It felt like they plucked Logan out of the X-Men world, threw him in Japan, and we're like, all right, let's do a story. And then there's a mutant here and a mutant there. But to me, what was so great about those first X-Men films, especially X2, was the way mutants were looked at, and the the class divide between that.
Yeah, like the political aspect
political
of the X-Men
aspect of
movies
it,
has
yeah.
always been a highlight, and there's none of that in this movie.
Yeah, I felt like I felt that lacking.
Well, you could say that's the point of the movie, though, because he does go to Japan. Like, the point of the movie was to take him out of the mutant world and bring him to Japan. Like, this is based off of a very popular comic run called I believe
Wolverine.
it's the Silver Samurai. He goes to Japan. He fights this. I mean, the movie is so loosely based off of it, but I've heard the comic is great, and this was not that faithful to the comic. And you can tell because the comic is very widely popular, got great reviews.
Oh, that's why when the head boss dude was buried, the Silver Samurai stood guard at his. So that was hinting that he was the Silver Samurai. So if you knew the comics, then the plot twist would have been kind of like, oh, that's what.
Well, that's what what they were hoping to draw people into this movie. Oh, X-Men fans, we're gonna do that story.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? They just didn't do anything. I don't know. They don't deliver on that aspect fully.
Does the plot work for you where Logan meets is it Morocco or Mariko? Mariko.
Radical.
Does that work? That he meets her and is like, all right.
All right. What I liked about that plot line was it showed Logan what a life of peace could have looked like for him, and he already had a life of war. He already went through all the wars. He already went through all the pain, all that stuff. And this is the only part of the canon Logan character that we see him having any sort of quiet life, even though it's only for like one day. We see, okay, this is what Logan would look like if he were introduced to a society with a culture and with manners and with all this stuff. And that's what the slow part of this movie was for. And that's why I like the slow part of this movie. That's why it was excusable for me. It was slow, but it showed, okay, this is a side of Logan we haven't seen before.
Yeah, none of that bothers me. Like, whenever he's on screen, it's totally fine. It's just when anything else is happening, I do agree with you, Ethan. It's not, I don't know, it's just not the most engaging thing in the world.
Anything outside of that house was boring.
Yeah, I don't hate this movie. We've had the privilege of watching hot garbage Marvel films and then some really good Marvel films, and I'd say like this isn't either one of them. I think there are some good elements in this movie. I think the bullet train sequence is kind of fun.
Yeah,
I think physics of it,
I think
whatever.
he jukes out the one guy.
Yeah,
That was cool. Another positive aspect of this movie is Wolverine's one-liners. I think they're on full display here. He throws that guy down into the pool. How'd you know there was going to be a pool down there? I didn't. And he also was like, "No, I gave you what I wanted. What, like, why are you doing this to me?" And he says, "I didn't like the information you gave me." He chucks him down there. He has some epic one-liners in this film, and I love that about Logan. His character is defined by his one-liners. And I mean, his great acting ability, but like, that's part of the reason why he's such a fan favorite.
I liked the Huntsman Wolverine at the beginning where he says, "Who shot down that grizzly?" He's like, "I did. I want to buy this man a shot." And then he walks up to him and he stabs him in the hand with the arrow. And he's like, "This is a poisoned arrow. You know you're not supposed to have these. Where did you get this?" Or no, ask me where I got this. And then he like twists it or he pours alcohol on the wound. He's like, "Go ahead, ask me where I got this." It's like, "Where did you get this?" "Oh, funny you should ask."
Funny you should ask. Yeah. That's
Great.
I love that you point
I
out.
love the ruthless Logan.
the caveman Logan at the beginning, and he gets to Japan. They're like, "All right, we got to give you a haircut," and it felt like they pulled out a picture of him from the first X-Men movie. "All right, we got to get your hair just like this.
We got to get the little
fluff it up on the
things on the
sides.
side.
Give you the trim just like Logan does in the comics. You know, perfect.
Gotta have his iconic look, man.
It felt a little too
That's
like
exactly what that's exactly what this movie is. It shows you, okay, this is what Logan was. Put him in a society who treats him like trash.
With honor and values and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Putting Logan, this guy who doesn't care about anything.
An outsider, yeah.
Right. And then putting him in this. I do like that. And I've always been a fan of the samurai culture. I think it's part of the reason why I do enjoy this movie. But I just think overall it's just kind of bland. That's the problem, though. Like, and the benefit of doing this whole experiment, I there's no other really word to call it, man. Talking about movies for an hour every week over every single Marvel film that's been ever released theatrically, like, that's the benefit to it. You really start to put things in perspective. I used to think First Class was great. Now, going movie to movie to movie, it is anything but First Class. And I would kind of say the same for this one, even though I do think that this is better and a step up. I think this is the best X-Men movie that we have seen since
X2.
honestly X2. Honestly, like I will say there is that to it, but
It also represents the standard that the X-Men movies kind of have.
or even had.
Yeah, I think X2 is really good, and it's a highlight of the series so far.
Yeah.
But it, I don't know, where's the ceiling for the X-Men?
And also just look at where we are right now. When those movies were being introduced in the early 2000s, that was it.
That was the team of superheroes. Now I'm like, man, I just want to see the Avengers again.
There's a new team in town.
It's just, we have Captain America, the Winter Soldier, right on the horizon, and we're watching this.
I know. Oh,
But
man.
I don't know, anything else? What?
Anything else already?
Oh, anything else already? Holy catfish.
Let's wrap this up.
I like the Hiroshima stuff at the beginning. We watched a little bit of a what was that? A board meeting thing, a skit on YouTube, and he said
the pitch meeting.
Yeah, pitch meeting. One thing he said was that it starts in a controversial thing, and okay. That makes sense. It's Japan. It's Nagasaki. There's a nuke dropped, and they wanted to actually release this movie on the anniversary of.
Well, that in the U.S. it was.
Yeah,
They delayed it a month.
They delayed it for Japan's release. I thought that the beginning made him look super cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was really cool. And then I already talked about it before, but him being Caveman Logan and roughing it out in the wild, and he goes to town and he is like, look at these animals. He doesn't say look at these animals, but he's talking about the huntsman, and he goes, gets his batteries for his radio, and then he goes back to his little man cave.
Dude, he was like more buff than I've ever seen him.
Oh, huge
in
Jackman.
This, like, seriously.
You know what he said? You want to know a quote from Hugh Jackman? He said that for his shirtless scenes in the movie, he wanted to look as ripped and cut as possible, in quotes. So he adopted a dehydration diet, which is very bad for you, used in bodybuilding, where he did not consume any liquid for 36 hours before filming his shirtless shots. That's why he's so veiny in all those shots.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. He said it made him feel headachy and faint, but he was pleased with the results, as dehydrating tightened everything up and gave him the exaggerated muscle definition and vascularity that he wanted to show in his shirtless scenes.
Well, jeez.
Pleased with the results, of course. He's absolutely shredded.
This is Wolverine, man.
Literally. Oh, hey, I like that. Jeez. Talk about commitment to a role,
to
man.
prepare for the role, Hugh Jackman contacted Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson for advice on bulking up for the movie. He suggested he can gain a pound a week over 6 months by eating 6,000 calories a day of an awful lot of chicken, steak, and brown rice.
The dirty bulking.
That's all it takes.
That just occurred to me. Will Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson never appear on a marathon? That's quite odd to think
Does
about.
he not make a cameo in something? I felt like he did. I don't think so though. You're right. You might
I
be
can
right.
research that.
He's a
Jamie, pull it
DC guy. Dude. He's been attached to Black Adam since like 2007, since the beginning of time. I'm not really upset about not seeing him. I'm not gonna lie.
What do you guys think of the other characters in this movie?
Yeah. So Viper already said I hated her. I don't know. Do you feel as strongly about her as I do?
He's in nothing.
I just think I feel the same about every character in this movie.
Even Logan?
I think Logan, again, just like the X-Men movies, is the only standout. The one girl. The one girl is a standout too. The
love interest?
Not the princess sister, but the other one. What's her name? Let me pull that up.
Yukio.
Not Mariko.
Yukio.
Yukio?
Yeah.
Yeah, Yukio. Her fighting was pretty standout. I liked her doing that too.
Yeah, she had a cool fight scene with Sanada.
Hiroyuki Sanada. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to him. He's in this movie. He's all over the place, man.
He's not given much to do in this
No.
one, which is unfortunate.
It is. When I saw him in the cast, I'm like, oh, maybe a few good scenes with him can really make this a great movie.
Oh, she's in Castlevania. She plays Sumi.
Didn't work out for you though.
No.
Well, like I said, like what do you think of Viper?
Nothing. She's
They
like,
should have made her more of a villain earlier in the movie, because the first scene, it's not established that she's a villain. She just kind of like walks around with a mask on, and you're like, okay, there's something up with her. Just
Her
reveal it
eyes
already.
do tinkle green.
Ooh, they tinkle.
Yeah, they do. I noticed that. But like, I think I disagree with you. I saw too much of her in this movie. Like,
No, I think that they should have weighted it more.
Actually, yeah.
They
Both,
should have brought it
Literally.
back to the beginning of the movie more, so that they can establish, okay, this is a villain, and then they don't have to have her less in more parts of the movie. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like Thanos, he's not in the whole Infinity War movie.
Viper, Thanos.
Keep those two characters apart, bro.
Well, Thanos,
don't
they
even-
do it right, okay? Viper, they do it wrong.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yes.
Thanos is not in the entire runtime of Infinity War. He's in it just enough so that you're not sick of him. You're not like, okay, let's move on to our main characters because we got to see them. He's there to do his thing, and then he leaves. As soon as he's there, he's gone. Viper, she's there for too long. She sticks around, and then Ethan, what's the only good part about Viper? Tell
That's
me.
the only her ball cap.
No,
ball cap
like
is
her
great.
the actual good part,
The death.
the death.
Oh, she gets a sick death. That's right. Yeah, we're
She
watching
gets
it.
destroyed, dude.
He gets a clay death from Tarzan.
Yeah, like his neck her neck snaps. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
That was pretty sick. I thought that was her tongue wrapped around her, like it was a frogman kind of thing, where it wrapped around.
No,
and then-
like Toad in the earlier X-Men
oh
films.
my god,
Toad, that's what it was.
Yes. Oh man. So I was looking online because I thought her voice dubbing was so atrocious, and in 2013 I saw an article that was written, and like something that we've kind of glossed over throughout each X-Men movie is that these characters that they would bring in were like hyped. The fact that Viper was in the trailer got X-Men fans really excited. Like, oh my gosh, Viper is going to show up. This is huge. She's a huge character in the comics. Like, I feel like that was how it was with a lot of the major characters, especially in X-Men First Class. They brought in like Emma Frost. It was like, whoa. And they just don't really like do anything with anyone, you know?
apparently Yukio and Viper were not mutants in the comics.
Viper?
Viper?
No, okay, so
It says Viper and Yukio were not mutants in the comics.
Viper, I'm pretty sure wasn't she a part of Hydra?
Oh, maybe, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure she was.
I got no
This
idea.
was just like a
I don't know anything about the characters, but in the movie she's a mutant.
or it might have been Madam Hydra. You know what? I'm getting my
Madam
characters
Hydra
mixed up.
is Viper, yeah.
They are the same character, so it is. So she is part of Hydra. That's what I remember her from. That's Earth's Mightiest Heroes talking right there. But yeah. The only other character that I will say did stand out was
Yeah,
Mariko.
she has no superhuman abilities, but her strength, speed, reflexes, agility, dexterity, and coordination, balance, and endurance are on the order of an Olympic athlete. That's what it says for the official rundown in the comics.
So on a
Weird.
scale of 1 to 10, how forced is Logan and Marco? What do you think?
Oh,
Probably about.
no. It's not.
What do you
I don't
think?
think it was the worst forced. It's
No,
not like Electra
I don't think
forced.
so either.
Come tie my apron, or my bathrobe.
I think that was the only part where it was pushing it for me. All the other spots, I thought it was.
I definitely
okay.
felt
They have sex.
Yeah, I mean,
like after like
screen.
2 days.
We don't know.
But, well, I mean,
you tie my
back.
robe. All right. I mean, if you say so.
come on, man. We all saw the scene. They
I
were
was
definitely
surprised.
cuddling
They
together.
showed restraint, and they're in
Well, I
literally
mean-
the Love Hotel earlier,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
nothing
yeah.
happens.
Where do you plan on sleeping?
I don't.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
What? And then he goes and stays out in the rain for hours.
You know, she was mad bummed. Oh,
I mean, come on. She saw him shirtless
Okay,
quite a
okay.
few times.
Now hold on. What a mid pick among going to Mars.
Where's
what?
this going?
Going to
Oh,
Mars.
right.
Out of
Okay,
the
I
three
did think that,
rooms.
yes.
And I
I-
left the hospital.
I love
room.
it's
Yeah.
in
Wasn't
in
there
Ja-
anything they could have used?
it's in Japan, and it's like all the ADR or whatever you call it, the voiceover in
Yeah.
the room is all in
It's
English.
so Americanized.
Take
Like-
off.
Like, come on. No.
There wasn't a single thing in their mind thinking, okay, like, when I was thinking, okay, which room are they going to pick? There's the nurse's office. Okay, there could be like Band-Aids in there. There could be isopropyl alcohol. There could be all these things to help.
The fully stocked hospital.
Come on, man. The veterinarian's son. Come on.
Rebecca, if you're listening to this.
Wow. Okay.
No, he's saying like help heal Logan.
To heal Logan.
Practical.
Yeah, I'm
For
thinking
the movie.
practically.
Oh,
here.
Wow, you know,
What are you thinking,
I don't know.
Ben?
the Love Hotel.
No,
Yeah,
but
I
like,
know.
but what are people gonna do with Band-Aids, Ben? All right.
Be like, hey, I put a Band-Aid on what, their forehead?
Listen, people do a lot of weird stuff.
For context, people who aren't listening, Logan and Marco they go to a hotel on the bad side of town, and there's only 3 rooms available.
In
One
the
of them
Love
is
Hotel.
in the Love Hotel. Yeah, they call it the Love Hotel.
And none of the rooms are on the same floor next to each other or anything, so they have to compromise.
have to share a room. They do.
Quite unfortunate. And it could have been way worse than it
And
was.
they picked the Mars room.
It was a mid pick. I agree with you.
Yeah, what was the other one? It was Mars, nurse's office, and
Something to do with like fire or something.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember. But out of the 3, Mars would not have been the one I
Mars
would
is
pick.
lame.
Yeah,
for sure.
I wouldn't. Space does not.
The bed was like spinning.
Yeah,
Did
no,
not look
what was
comfy.
that? No way.
It didn't look comfy at all.
I don't want that. I would be where Logan
Even
is.
if I were going to a Love Hotel, I wouldn't pick the Mars room.
Even if I were going to a Love Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take notes.
Yeah, I don't know. Who cares?
So
Yeah,
we kind
who
of
cares?
didn't do like a synopsis of this movie, and we're like 30 minutes into this. So explain what happens in this movie, one of you two, because
Well,
I would also like a refresher.
Yeah, I started. I already started saying that he was in Nagasaki. He saved this guy, this soldier, from committing seppuku, which is an unnoble death, right? Like, oh, I disappointed my family, so he stabs himself
Fall on
with
the sword.
yeah, fall on the sword
Yeah.
kind of thing. So his comrade dudes do it, and then
it's a sign
Logan-
of, it's an honorable death actually.
yeah. Oh, okay, honorable death.
Yep.
So he, Logan takes the guy and saves him in this bunker prison that he had. And then fast forward years later, he's dying, right? This old guy. And he's super rich. He's a tech guy. All right? Ethan's laughing at me
No,
because
I-
apparently
Your synopsis is great, Mike.
Keep going, Mike.
my
This
synopsis is
beautiful.
great.
I
So
love
this
this.
old Japanese dude who's super rich and owns like all of Japan apparently sends for Logan with his daughter and then a granddaughter actually. And then the daughter picks up Logan. The dude says, "You have to protect my granddaughters," and then he dies allegedly.
Oh, allegedly.
Even though I like this foreshadowing, the Yukio does
that was
not
interesting.
see the death. She
That's
says
her
she doesn't
mutant
see his
ability.
death. It's because he didn't die.
Yeah, her mutant ability is she can see
Really cool
one
mutant
aspect of
ability,
people's
yes.
lives. Yeah, and that one aspect is people dying.
They're dead,
So
yeah.
she sees all these other people dying. She sees Logan dying. He dies on the table for like 10 seconds, and then is back, which is a pretty cool. You die on your back with your hand, with your heart in your hand.
Part of me was thinking, is that how Logan ends?
I was thinking
Is
that.
his heart in his hand?
People have said that his heart was X-23, his daughter, technically. But then she also adds on, and it's not beating anymore. So it kind of doesn't work. Even though I like that he does die on his back holding his daughter in his hand, which you could say is his heart. Canonically, that's my headcanon. But it doesn't really make sense when you look at the quote.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go through a bunch of adventures in Japan, and Wolverine gets his bone claws back, and they meet up with Magneto and Charles Xavier. And
in the post credits.
Oh yeah,
Days
and
of
then
Future Past
The
comes.
old guy was actually Silver Samurai, and he had an Iron Man kind of suit thing going on, and
Adamantium suit.
you have to hold adamantium suit, adamantium man,
Two hands on the sword.
Yeah, 2 hands on the sword because
We
it's a
learned that
Japanese
earlier in the
weapon,
movie. Yeah.
and that activates the heat sword that can cut through adamantium.
Beautiful plot element right there.
Yeah.
Go watch the movie.
yeah, we're being. I feel like a little too critical. I
I didn't think that was critical. I thought that was fine.
No,
Like,
just
I
the,
liked it.
just the
Fantastic.
overall vibe of this conversation is more critical than it is positive.
I do tend to do that with when I'm not overly positive on a movie. I like to bring
That's
down
the
the
thing.
vibe of the podcast.
Well,
I do.
that should speak to the
All right,
quality of the
let's
film.
throw some positivity out there, boys. I don't have anything. Go ahead.
I've already said everything I love about this movie. Logan and his one-liners and the Japanese honor code system. I'm a big fan of the Japanese.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, what's your favorite movie, Ben?
my favorite movie is Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring. But my third favorite movie of all time is The Last Samurai.
Okay.
Which is a fantastic film, a way better samurai. You see a little bit of kind of what that movie has to do, dealing with nightmares and how that affects a soldier. And I like that Logan at the end of this movie says that he's not going to come back to Japan, and he says that he's a soldier and he's been away from the fight too long. And I like that because Wolverine at his best is saving people, being the superhero that we all know him as, not saying goodbye to dead people, which he does eventually become a superhero in this. We didn't even talk about that final charge into the that base, the Yakuza base.
Yeah.
All the guys shooting him with the arrows that's stopping him like that, and he's walking up that was kind of cool, man.
That was cool.
And
I liked how he was really pushing, and you could see the power of the Wolverine really he's giving his all to just try to get to the damsel in distress and whatever, and then the poison arrow shoots him in the back. And how can they make a poison that takes out the Wolverine's
Viper licked it.
Yeah.
The arrow, yeah.
So it was just a constant stream of dying that was preventing him from recovering. Was that it?
In a way, she had to administer a lot more than she was able to.
What is the bug on his heart in this movie?
Oh, that was a thing made by the company that I forgot the dude's name. The head guy had already hinted that they made something or can make something.
Yeah.
So they have that capability already.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
What's up with the morals of the bow and arrow dude, the boyfriend of the
Harada?
Great question, man.
Yeah, I know you guys were kind of talking about
Lee.
that. I want you guys to continue that conversation that we were talking about earlier.
When were we talking about this? Before
When we were
record?
watching the movie.
Yeah, he is just there, and he's kind of the bad guy of this movie. Maybe, I don't know.
But sometimes he's a good guy.
Sometimes he's a good guy. Basically, in the final battle, he's with the samurai dude.
Yeah.
And then, sorry for anyone who's listening to this and hasn't watched the movie, this is gonna be a hard one. But
yeah.
Well, first off, let's set up the character. So he is, what's her name's the princess. That's the boyfriend, right?
What's her name,
Mariko.
princess?
Mariko.
Yes.
That's Mariko's boyfriend, and he was tasked by Yoshida. That's the name of the old guy.
That's
Yoshida,
what it is, yeah.
the grandfather, to finish out protect the daughter or do what Yoshida wants, right? And what Yoshida wanted was to get her to his lair thingy, the Silver Samurai's lair, and then he can turn around and kill Logan. So as long as Logan was working to keep her safe until then, that's what he wanted, right?
Master plan.
Plan. So he was on Logan's side all the way up until Mariko made it to the lair.
I feel like he's thinking he's doing him a good, a favor though. That
he
kind of got
serves
that
no
vibe.
master other than Yoshida.
Yeah.
So that's why they call him. That's why they call Logan the what's the Japanese term?
Ronin.
Ronin.
Shoot.
A Ronin.
Yeah.
A samurai with no master. They emphasize that early in the movie. But the other samurai in the movie, the boyfriend, is one with a master. He's not a samurai, but you know what I
So
mean.
his heel turn at the end though is kind of just fast.
Yeah, it is fast. But if you think about it, he never turned around to begin with. He was always serving Yoshida the whole time because Yoshida never died.
Well, I mean, at the very end.
Yeah.
Monaco stabs him, and it's
It kisses
whoa.
him, stabs him,
Right.
and then he's a good guy now.
You'd think
Right?
that would really and he looks
now he's
down
around
and
it.
he's like, all right, I'm out of here. I mean, we didn't even acknowledge that part. He literally is like, yo, see you later. This is crazy. And he walks out. And now he's back shooting everyone. I don't know. There's also a line that just makes absolutely no, maybe you guys can help me here. But Wolverine, when he grabs that guy after they take Monaco. He grabs him out and he goes and interrogates. Where are they, bub? Where are they? And then he kills him. He puts it right in his face. Then he goes, tell me who you work for. And then the scene ends.
There's a motorcycle for the honor Logan.
If you can hear that. And that doesn't make any sense. That line doesn't make any sense. He kills him, stabs him right in the face, and then asks him, tell me who you work for.
And then still gets info off of him. In the next scene, it's assumed that he got info from the dude.
Like he did, you just killed the guy. Like what? Did you guys catch that scene?
I caught it.
That scene was so weird.
I was like,
why did you ask him that?
It helped me. It made me step back a little bit.
So one other thing I wanted to mention before we go, because we've honestly spent too much time talking about this movie. Honestly, it's already. I didn't even think 7:35. Holy catfish! But one other thing I want to mention is that there is an extended, unrated cut of this movie that is about 12 to 18 minutes longer.
Did you watch
than
that
the
one?
original? I did not. It's I had to pay for it, so
R-rated, yeah.
It's unrated.
Yeah.
No rating. A lot
worse,
more blood, and there's an extension of the movie.
That is something you miss regardless of how good the past X-Men movies have been, wherever they range. That is something that you just don't get.
Yeah.
Like even in this movie, Logan's going berserk on dudes.
Extended edition.
You don't see anything. Dude. It's all off screen, the stabbing, and not that I'm like a agoraphobe, not that I love it. Like I don't crave blood, but it's something that would kind of add to the character, and I mean we do get it in Logan.
Well, I'm picking this movie up. It's $5.
Yeah, it's the Deadpool aspect of it all. Can you do this character right? The rating matters. You can't do a Deadpool character justice without an R rating. Honestly, you could even go X. That's going to be interesting when we reach those movies. That's for sure. But yeah, I just wanted to make it known that maybe for some reason the unrated extended edition is better than the one we watched. Highly doubt it. I think it just shows a lot more blood, but could be wrong. Haven't seen it.
Maybe it's a great film.
Could be. But I don't think this is a BVS situation or a Zack Snyder's Justice League. But anyway, moving on. Favorite character, gentlemen. Micah, do you have a character that you really enjoyed in this movie?
27 additional scenes or shots.
Yeah, dude.
10 scenes with alternate footage, 3 scenes showing different images sections, 12 scenes with added digital blood. Wow, that's pretty cool. All right, I might have to watch that. Favorite character of this movie? Who could it be? Logan. Love that guy. He's a pretty cool guy. They should make a movie off of him.
I think they did.
They did.
Yeah, we're talking about it.
Called the Wolverine. We're watching.
It's called X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh,
no, that was a good movie.
I've raved enough about Logan. I loved his everything about his portrayal really of Logan and all the X-Men movies. I haven't found anything that I haven't. Okay, that's a bold take. That's a dookie take. All right, I like Logan in this movie still. I like the action shots. He always puts everything into his roles. Man.
How can you not like him? Yeah,
huge Jack man, dude. I loved the caveman scenes. I loved him going into town. I loved him going to town on those dudes in the bar. I loved him on the bullet train. Like, I can't think of a scene where I was like, I didn't really like that. I liked his slower scenes where he was reminiscing on his time in Nagasaki when he sees the hole in the ground where he hid with, I'm blanking on his name again, Yoshida for until the fallout went out or until they were safe to get out. There were so many great moments with Logan in this movie. So many great character development parts where you're like, okay, Logan is now more of a human than he was before this movie. He shouldn't. It gives you more of an excuse to see. It gives you more of an argument to say, okay, Logan can be in a society, right? When Yoshida asks him, I'm not offering to kill you. I'm offering you an ordinary life. Maybe you can have an ordinary family. You can have an ordinary death.
A chance for peace.
A chance for peace, yeah. And you see that he's considering it for just a second. And he's like, you're out of your mind, old man. But I love that. I love that scene because you get to see what Logan is thinking.
Yeah.
You get to see his thought process. You get to see what he wants. And he wants to be with someone we didn't care about before this movie.
Yeah. But now that, I mean, there's no question he's the best part of this movie.
Yeah.
And you picked him first.
Yeah,
So now
you stole
Ethan and I
him,
are
dog.
all right. I am anxious to hear what you have to say.
So
Ethan.
X-Men Origins Wolverine proved that not everything Hugh Jackman touches will be good.
True.
And doesn't mean that.
okay, not everything he
Oh,
touches.
you agree with me? You're in agreement.
Not everything he
Epic.
touches is
Dang it, Micah.
good.
Yes,
What
I
happened
got
to
you.
you?
I got him.
Dang it.
Just still baffled that you guys seem to like that movie, and
wasn't
I don't hate this movie either. And I think Hugh Jackman is pretty good in it. But I'm gonna take Mariko. I think she is a good enough love interest, and while not fantastic, better than Famke Jensen, who they use as a
Definitely.
key point in this movie, right?
Better than Electra.
Yeah.
And she gets brownie points for being absolutely gorgeous. I just gotta say it, right?
Yeah.
You do. You honestly do.
You want her number? I can find it for you.
That would be great.
All right.
Find her number for me.
She's what, like 50 now?
50.
She's probably pretty old, man.
I'll find out. All right. She is older than Ethan, that's for sure.
She's born in
Facts.
85.
Born in 85. She's younger than our parents. She's in
Yeah,
your
so
age,
she's in
dude.
her 40s.
Yeah. No, she's not.
But I thought she was
Late
good.
30s.
I thought she was
Yeah,
good
late
enough,
30s, yeah.
right?
37 or something.
In a movie that really, other than Logan, doesn't have many characters around it that are interesting. I think she is good enough, and she's something that Logan can attach onto. Like, okay, I'm gonna leave this cave because this girl is. Do we know why he attaches himself to her? Is it just because he's in need of something?
Yeah,
of a
it
purpose?
always seems like he needs that purpose, someone to save, someone that needs his help that makes him feel purposeful.
Hmm.
And that's what she provides.
Oh, dang it, man. You guys have taken the only
Pick
two
Yoshida.
characters.
Yoshida was a cool villain.
No, I don't
What?
care about
Take
Yoshida.
Viper.
I'm definitely not taking Viper, man. Maybe my least favorite part of this movie, man.
Wow. Yukio?
I could, but she was just meh. She had some cool action sequences. Yeah, fine. I'll take Yukio. Her whole thing that she can see the character's death makes it really interesting. She makes the plot interesting. That's what I'll say. I don't know. I could take her or leave her.
Take her or leave her.
The action sequences with Wolverine, those are the standout ones, particularly the one where he fights Hiroyuki Sanada and he stabs him and he asks him, "What are you?" And he says, "I'm the Wolverine." And he takes the thing out. That's epic imagery right there. But
That was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take Yukio. That's who I'll take. But we all know the MVP, the GOAT, is Wolverine. And now we move on to favorite scene. Micah, in this movie, what's your favorite scene?
I've already talked about it so many times.
Then just say it and move on.
do I add?
Just say
what
the
else
scene.
do I
You
add?
don't need to add
We'll
anything.
leave
Just say
time
it.
code so people can go back.
All right,
Mike.
we'll say the first act. I liked.
Specifically, what scene in the first act?
We'll say.
Pinpoint it.
Take the whole movie.
We'll say rugged Logan
A rugged
when
Logan.
he still has his long hair.
Long hair Logan.
Right, but there's many scenes with him. You can take the
That's
bear
enough.
scene.
I think that's
Okay,
specific
him in the
enough.
bar. Him in the bar.
Him in the
we'll
bar.
say that
Okay.
because I liked his lines.
Okay.
The ones where he stabs the arrow. That one.
All right.
Yeah. I mean,
That's a good scene. Ethan?
My favorite scene is the post-credits scene. That no, I'm not
the
taking
one
that.
written by
Could take
a
that.
different
That's
director.
honestly a good scene.
Post-credit scene was pretty good, but my favorite scene is in the end when Logan's saying goodbye to Mariko in the airport, and you see in the back. Ben, what's your favorite character's name? I forgot her name.
Yukio.
Yukio. You see Yukio get handed a briefcase. And then in the next shot, she does not have the briefcase. And what do we learn later when the movie's released? On the Blu-ray, we get
Yeah.
a deleted scene where we see what that briefcase is. So my favorite scene is a nod to a scene that should have been in this movie. That's what I'll take.
They were so close to giving us for those of you who don't know, there was a deleted scene where Yukio hands Logan a suitcase and inside is yellow suit.
The iconic Wolverine suit.
Yeah.
And the one you guys have been begging for.
Yes.
Well, I mean, we've certainly been begging for
still
it.
are begging for it, and that's why the prospect of Hugh Jackman coming back in Deadpool 3
Yes.
wearing the Wolverine suit.
That's
I mean,
big.
he's gonna be. There's no way he's not. They don't even have to make it make sense. Just do it.
I think
Just
they
do
said,
it.
correct me if I'm wrong on this, but they said that there's going to be like 2 Wolverines in that movie.
Hugh Jackman said he's going to play multiple versions of himself.
Yeah.
So we're going to see Yellow Suit Wolverine before time's done.
That's going to be a wild movie, man.
Yeah.
I actually think I mentioned it. I think I'm going to take the scene where the fight between him and Hiroyuki Sanada, their fight in the rain, and when he stabs him, he's just an unstoppable
good.
beast, man. And the imagery of him between the 2 doors, he takes the sword out of his stomach. It's just he's in the shadow and everything. It's a really good scene. I really like that scene.
That was a good fight. I think that was the best fight in the movie.
I agree. But with that, gentlemen, we come to the.
Do you want to hear what the internet thinks of Wolverine?
it's score time, gentlemen. So what's
score
going
time.
on online?
So online, let me search this guy up, the Wolverine. There's this ranking that we really like to look at, right? It's called the Hollywood Reporter ranking. And every week I ask you guys, where do you think this ranks in the Hollywood Reporter's ranking? Is it in our upper echelon of the top 35, or is it in the bottom 35?
I'm going to say bottom 35.
Bottom 35.
That's my prediction.
For those of you who don't know, the Hollywood Reporter ranking is 70 Marvel movies all the way up to Black Panther Wakanda Forever that were ranked by the Hollywood Reporter, and it's kind of a bad list in our opinion.
That's an understatement.
Oh, understatement. Yeah,
terrible.
for sure. So what I will ask is, Ethan, where is this movie?
This movie, The Wolverine.
The Wolverine.
Where do they put it out of 70 films?
Is it above 35 or below 35?
I'm feeling like this reporter, whoever typed up this article, probably liked this movie.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's under
35.
Under 35.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you guys think that this movie is better or worse than Infinity War?
Oh no! Oh
I
man!
hate that. I hate that. It better not be. According to these chicks, it's probably better.
For you guys at home, Infinity War was ranked just 1 above Thor: Love and Thunder. At it's holding the 31st spot.
Infinity War, 31st best Marvel film. I can't disagree with that, right?
I know. There's no other.
Can't disagree.
There's 30 other movies that are better than it.
Infinity War is definitely in my top 31. That's for sure.
Easily. All right,
The Wolverine ranks 29th. Better than Infinity War. Better than Endgame.
dude.
Better than Blade 2. Better than both Guardians. No. Better than Guardians 2. Just under Iron Man 2. Okay. And then the internet ranks us. So for the internet ranking, I did the Rotten Tomatoes critic score, audience score, Metacritic user, IMDb, our Letterboxd scored, averaged them all out to equal our internet ranking. And the internet ranks us at 40 out of, I think I did 74 for that
40,
one.
okay.
40. Yeah.
What
Rotten
does this
Tomatoes
say? Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes.
critic gives us 71. Audience is a 69. Nice. Metacritic is a 61. Metacritic user is a 69. Nice. IMDb is a 6.7. And Letterboxd is out of 5, a 2.9.
Okay.
So around that 60 range.
Yeah,
60 to 70.
65.8 is our average for that.
But like we always say,
Just over Iron Man 2, just under Blade.
none of that matters.
Yeah, it doesn't
that
matter.
matters.
Because
None
those
of
are the insecure little internet dudes.
Losers.
Yeah,
They
losers.
don't show their face on the internet like we do.
They don't
Yeah,
watch
that's right.
every single Marvel movie
In
and
order.
rank them
Right.
in chronologically released order.
But that's what we're doing. So Micah, hit us with your score, man. What do you give the Wolverine?
This movie, much like its previous movies, do a lot of things that are pretty good. And what it does the best out of the other movies is it has more Logan. And Logan is my favorite character out of the X-Men movies. It's the only character that really makes a difference in any of the plot. And that was my main criticism with X2 is we didn't have enough. We didn't have Logan. We didn't have enough of that romance, right? And as Ethan stated earlier, this is a passable romance that we see, right? Right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'd say that this movie for me lands at a 6. No. Sorry, not a 6. A 7.6 out of 10.
7.6.
It is definitely watchable. I would repeat watch this another time. After that, I don't know if it's worth watching. I don't think I'll watch this again.
Okay.
Like I watched this this is maybe my second time watching this movie. I'd say I'm good. I watched it twice. I'm good.
Yeah, let me.
But if someone else came up to me and was like, I haven't seen Wolverine, I'll watch it. I'll watch this movie again.
If someone came up to me and said I haven't seen that movie, I would say it's on Disney Plus. Go ahead. I'm not watching it with you.
Is it on Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Go ahead, watch it. I'm not gonna watch this with you. Me, I'll go ahead and get my
Ethan,
score.
yeah.
So I don't know. I don't hate this movie. I definitely don't love it. I think it is just middle of the road. Just slides by, right in between being okay and being bad. It's right there.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
it doesn't do anything special. But I don't know where you're getting 7.6 from. Where are you pulling that out of?
7.6 is not.
I don't. It's so high, man. I can't even believe that.
We've got 8s and 9s. And,
Yeah, whatever.
okay.
That's high, dude. That's
Well,
high.
Ethan, where are you putting this then?
Middle of the road. Where I put middle of the road movies, I probably won't watch this again. As Micah said, I give it a 6. I can't give it any lower or any higher than a 6.
Okay.
I think it is just fine. Nothing special. I already am having a hard time even talking about this movie still. I've forgotten a lot of this movie. It dragged in the middle for me a lot. I kept checking the runtime, like, oh man, still going? Are you kidding me?
Oh, man.
It felt long to me. It just did. And I don't know. I think Hugh Jackman is great in the role, but yeah, it's not enough to make me think that this is ever essential to watch again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 6.
6. So 6 and a 7.6.
Out of all the X-Men movies, would this be one you recommend people skip?
Well, so far, I'd say both
Both
Wolverine solo films you skip. Yeah, totally.
I'd say if the original trilogy wasn't a trilogy. Oh, never mind. That's a different topic.
What did I give X3, Micah?
X3, you gave it 6.
Okay. I think X3 is a tad better, but I'll leave them both at 6.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the Wolverine.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
Wow.
Come on.
You think The Last Stand,
Come on. Yeah.
we're talking about,
Yep.
I thought it was a little worse.
really?
Yeah. Easily.
Whoa,
Yeah.
dude, no way. Wolverine is better than
All
that.
right, X3, we get Juggernaut, we get Professor X, we get Magneto, we get some
Yeah,
action.
there's a lot of cool stuff in
There's
X3.
cool stuff in it. I just don't.
I gave it a 7.4. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't the best.
It's not. I'm not saying it's great. I just think it's a little better than this one.
I just think
That's
the
all I'm saying.
quality of this movie and the filmmaking and the story is, I just think it's a step above.
Yeah, there's
Last
a lot more
Stand.
color in this movie. It's in Japan. They've got the lights, right? They've got the shots. They've got the scenes. They've got there's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
But that's why there's 3 of us and we
That's
average
right.
the score.
It'll
That's
average
right.
out. We'll see.
It'll average out. My score doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. All right,
I
it means
actually-
very little. All right,
Frighteningly little.
No
Frighteningly
way, dude.
little
No
in the
way.
grand scheme of the multiverse.
Us 3 here, these scores, they're the only thing that does, you could
The
say.
average
Ben.
is the only thing that will reign true.
That's right. That's right. And so I do, I'll make it quick, man. I other than Viper and, the plot being, passable, I do like the element of him going to Japan.
I think the tone of the movie is great.
Yeah. There is a lot that I do like with this film.
Yeah.
And I do think that I would watch this movie again, but is it the greatest movie we've seen on our list? No. And so my passing, and I would watch this again. It probably won't be for like 10 years. Maybe I'll show my son
Yeah,
this. But this is a Wolverine movie, man. And there are some epic Wolverine moments. I would
Definitely.
not skip this movie. Personally, I'm giving this movie a 7.
Okay. A 7.
A 7, yes.
Now average out that into our score.
That'll be right around
I think
there.
that'll be right where we probably want it. as all these movies
As always.
kind of turn out. Right.
Except for, I guess,
right where
you
we
guys
want.
don't like the Punisher score.
Thank you.
think
We
that
almost
should
made
be
it through a
low.
podcast without mentioning the Thomas Jane Punisher. Go listen to that podcast. Go watch that movie, Thomas Jane Punisher. What was it, 2004?
2004.
Yeah, go watch that podcast and just listen to Ben's take on that movie.
Someone is going to reach out and say that they agree with my take. I've already talked to someone who
Ben,
likes it.
We love your take. Ben, I saw your Thomas Jane Punisher. It was fantastic.
Guys,
I agree with you.
this was our 30th movie.
Yes.
Number 30.
Can you
That's
believe it?
right.
We have our top 30. Ben, you were just talking about earlier that Infinity War is in your top 30. Infinity War will be in this list. Can you believe that? Wow.
Okay, yeah, it's going to be high. That's for sure. That's for sure.
All right, so our average score for Wolverine with a 6, a 7, and a 7.6 gives us a 6.8 out of 10.
6.8.
6.8 out of 10.
Averaged out. What place does that put it in our Ultimate Marvel ranking?
Out of 30, yeah.
13th place.
Ooh, okay.
Top 15. Yeah, top 15.
What's surrounded by
Just
it?
over Iron Man 2, just under Blade and X-Men. So it's underneath X-Men 1, X-Men 2, but just above X-Men Origins Wolverine, Last Stand. So definitely in our top 4 X-Men movies.
Yeah, okay.
Which, as we can see, that isn't that high of a bar.
No,
But
it's
No,
not.
dude, next year, especially, dude, Guardians, Captain America, Days of Future Past, for crying out loud.
Tasman 2.
I do like Tasman.
I love that
That's-
we're on it.
that's gonna
Animated
be
movie on the list.
Big
Big
Hero
Hero
6.
Big Hero 6, the big, that's gonna be so
The
fun.
underdog.
I'm
man.
I
excited
love
for that, man.
this is somehow like it's veer its way into
It's
our
really
list. It's gonna be so fun.
It's gonna pivot, yeah, for
It's
sure.
gonna be fun.
I wasn't allowed to put Into the Spider-Verse trilogy on there if I couldn't put Big Hero 6.
Right.
I couldn't do
course,
it.
absolutely.
I couldn't do it.
It's Marvel.
And the Wikipedia page has Big Hero 6 on there too.
They
That's what
group them in
I'm
the
you have
same
to
doing.
include
list.
it. You have to include it.
But Ben, do you want to know what's up next?
Yes.
What is up next? Yeah, so Wolverine 6.8. It's 6.8.
13th
13th.
out of 10.
13th in our ranking.
13th place.
That takes care of Wolverine.
Yeah.
I think we're back in the MCU, if I'm not mistaken, right?
We are. We are. With one of the most, dare I say, hated movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I know that a lot of people do not like this movie, and I'd like to see why. I haven't seen this movie in a long time.
Same
Thor:
here.
The Dark World.
Or the Dark World next week.
Now we do have
Very cool.
Natalie Portman in this movie,
Nice.
and I'm excited to see what a little red dust can cause havoc on the galaxy.
Nice.
Yes.
I am really excited to rewatch this movie. It's been a long time for me as well.
Think any movie with Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston,
Especially
you gotta highlight
because
him.
Yes.
we might not
Yes.
see very much Chris Hemsworth going forward from 2023.
So
Very unfortunate.
It'll be fun to watch this movie after seeing Thor: Love and Thunder to
That's gonna
see
be
how
huge.
well it ages, because I don't know, nothing will really be as bad as Love and Thunder. So
Thunder's
I'm
definitely.
excited to check out Thor: The Dark World for sure.
That's right. You can find that obviously on Disney Plus. It is for sure there to watch. I believe it's our first Marvel Studios opening credit, as I remember, and I'm excited to watch that. So
Yeah.
tune in next week for that. Yeah. No, I will say I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it. We're
course,
back in the
yeah.
MCU.
This was
So-
one of the movies that I was most looking forward to watching.
Really?
Is Thor: The Dark World.
As we've learned, bad MCU still pretty decent for the Marvel movie
yeah,
marathon.
Howard the
Very
Duck
true.
was really good.
Howard the Duck. Go check out that podcast. It started it all.
Yeah, we have definitely had some bad movies. We have definitely had some good movies. And to compare Thor: The Dark World, one of the worst rated ones, to our bad Marvel movies, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's next week, folks. So stay tuned in. We appreciate you sticking around this long. And for now, this has been Rayside.
This is Ethan Westloff.
This is Micah Hetz.
Signing off. We all hope you have an absolutely fantastic day.